Not just amateurs, but professionals. We all want to hit the ball far. There's no limit, and it's scary how far we hit the ball today versus 10 or 20 years ago. So we all aspire to hit the ball farther. How do you do it? When it's all said and done, the faster this goes, the farther the ball goes. So the key question is for each golfer, how do you maximize your speed? And that's where a lot of things come into play. Let's start with the grip and take a look at that from a power standpoint. You know, if I get my grip on here fairly weak, I'm going to have a tendency to have my club face get wide open on the backswing. And if I get my club face open, I now restrict how far the ball is going to go. So if you're an amateur out there and you're trying to get more distance, make sure your hands are turned more under to the right if you're a right-handed golfer. Go ahead and turn your hands a little bit if you feel like you've got too big a slice. That's going to be probably your quickest way to get some power and distance because you get the club face more square. If you're trying to generate more club head speed, you actually want to play with your stance on the narrower side, not the wider side. A wider stance is kind of for a bracing position. Go ahead and get your stance a little bit on the narrower side because now I can increase my turn and how fast I move my hips. Two other great backswing tips are if I'm going to increase distance, we went through the turn, that's going to be important, but now you want to also increase the width or the arc of your swing. So I'm really trying to get my grip to stretch and get my arms out there as wide as I can. And all you have to do is look at Tiger Woods to look how when Tiger's been in his heyday, look how much width he's been able to generate. So that just gets the arc of the swing better. So if you can get a better grip, maybe a little narrower stance, not a crazy narrow stance, increase your turn, stretch out your width as far as you can. All four of those things alone are going to lay a foundation for your backswing and create potential for a lot more power and speed. Here's the trick though. It doesn't do you any good if then on the downswing you go back and use your shoulders, use your hands, don't do anything with power. Just like we've been going over, there's no more special key in golf than making sure that front hip fires, leads your hands and arms. So if you want more power, you've got to kind of lay the foundation with the backswing. When you come on down, that first move is you're trying to get your left hip over your left foot, and now turn my left hip out of the way. So at impact, my belt is facing mostly towards the target, not facing at the ball. And if I can put all those things together, I'm going to be able to hit the ball with a lot more power and speed. Now let me throw one more idea at you here. I've talked to some people on the research side with this. If you're going to take an Olympic athlete and you're going to, like a sprinter, you're going to try and make him run faster, it's a fact that you've got to teach him to run downhill first so he knows what it feels like to run faster, instead of training him to run uphill, which should be common sense, but all that does is build strength, and that doesn't necessarily go faster. So you draw the parallel to golf. If you want to swing faster, all you got to do is start swinging faster. And your body will take a little bit at a time to become comfortable. So if you swing normally like this, and you start to practice a little bit more like this, you're just gonna pick up yardage, but it may take 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months. It's gonna take some time, like a sprinter, until he can be comfortable running faster. So the only thing that matters from a distance standpoint is if this goes faster, the ball's gonna go faster. One final good drill to do. This all sounds great, but if your speed is up here, that's not the faster we want. You hear where the speed is? I've got to make sure that when I get all this speed, it's out ahead of the golf ball. It's not early. So let's go work on these keys, but let's try and get the speed ahead of the ball so it's maximizing out past the ball, not too early before it.
So what you mean is, whenever people wanted to gain some distance, and instead of hitting the ball straight, but try to hit the ball harder, whatever the result goes, right? So and then gain some, build some, muscles or tempos or turns and such like that first, and then second, and then try to hit the ball straight or something like that.
Well, that's the new thing that kind of Tiger and VJ figured out about 10 years ago. They really bulked up and hit it 30 yards further and figured I'd rather have a wedge in out of the rough than a 6 or 7 iron out of the fairway. And now everybody's kind of figured that same thing out. So you don't see as many fairways hit, but you sure see a lot of shorter clubs being hit because people are hitting the ball so far.